This question came up during one of your client meetings this week. How do I teach my children the value of savings?
Yeah, I had a really good conversation with a client, trying to dig in on, what they can do to help their children be better with their money, right?
Hmm.
And wanted some advice on things that I had, done or things that I had seen with other clients and what have you. And I'll tell you the first thing that I told them was just, I got into this business kind of very curious about how money works and how you create wealth and how you invest, right? And so I'm constantly asking clients that have done really well, what was it? What did you do? What was the thing that kind of propelled you to do this? And so, first of all, the number one criteria within my clientele for how they got to be, millionaires in essence, is that they are savers, right? So they save. And the number one comment they say about that is very, very similar, and it is, my parents told me to pay myself first.
Hmm.
So when I'm talking to this client about their child, we were talking about all kinds of different things and different ideas and thoughts and little pieces. But I kept going back to that same thing because here I am talking to, say, a 70-year-old or a 75-year-old, and one after another they're saying kind of the same thing. My parents told me to pay myself first. And of all the things that they learned from their parents and learned from their life, that's the one that stuck. And
Hmm.
here they are sitting there with a very nice retirement, and they've got this money, and they basically have that one comment. It's like, so I would start there and really focus on that. And then maybe you don't have to go any farther. Maybe there's nothing else to it. Just get your kids to understand to pay themselves first.
Hmm.
And so a certain percentage of their pay goes into savings, and then you live off the rest, right? That was the same, that's the comment I heard. Put this away and live off the rest. And your lifestyle should be based on the rest, but you always have the savings going in. The amount of savings is, 5 to 25%, depends on situation and person and how much discipline somebody has. But that's number one. If you really want to help your children, at least from my experience of dealing, that's the one thing that's neat about our situation. We can go all the way down the path. We can talk to a 75-year-old,
Hmm.
look back down their life and say, wow, this is what they did. This is how they did it. Usually people are thinking, oh, well, it's about investing. It's about, these great rates of return or finding this great stock or, buying this real estate. And I have seen people that have accumulated really nice net worths, and their investing philosophy has been far from ideal.
Hmm.
I mean, not really great. Now, those people that have ideal investing philosophies combined with, a good savings rate, they're 10, 20 million. Yeah, that's the big ones. But it really starts with savings because it goes the other way. If you're a great investor and you don't have any money, you can't do anything. And you got $1,000 and you make 100%. Now you have $2,000. It's still, I'd rather make 10% on $1 million, right? So I
Hmm.
mean, it's not about the returns per se. That's an add-on. That's a secondary thing. You have to be able to save the money and accumulate the money, right, in some form or fashion. And then obviously you want to look at stocks and real estate and those types of things because those are good wealth generators from that, right? And so I think that's the beginning portion of trying to help your kids get better with their money is get them to understand that pay themselves first. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that from my clients. It's amazing. It's really stuck with me.
Yeah, and sometimes, when they're younger, and you can always do a little matching. Say, hey, every dollar you sent, say, we'll match $1, kind of like a 401k match in a
Yep.
sense.
Yep.
To incentivize that matching, and that's a very common thing that we see in our practice with young adults and or kids in high school with their first jobs.
Yeah, exactly right. That's, uh, I'm talking to these clients. We were talking about the possibility of having their son was just making some money, set up a Roth IRA. And so, you can put $6,000 into a Roth IRA if you earn under a certain amount, right?
Hmm.
And he was going to, it looked like. And so, we're talking about maybe matching, dollar for dollar. So if he got up to 3,000, they would be putting in 3,000, and that's 6,000 going into his Roth. And I did a quick calculation on a 50-year a $6,000 contribution. This kid was 18, so
Hmm.
for at 11% return, which is the average stock market return, and it came out to a little over $10 million.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money in today's dollars. Wouldn't be as much in the future, but still kind of amazing to have that amount of money, sitting there growing tax free, right? So
Yeah, because that's $300,000 that turned into $10 million.
yeah, that's a decent deal. So anyway, that's the power of starting young. So that was the other thing that I told them was that the matching portion, like you said, and then we talked about that whole just the concept of understanding, what it could do for you.
Hmm.
Hey, you got to put $3,000 in. I'll put 3,000. That's good. It was pay yourself first. Okay, that's important. But look, this could be $10 million. Hey, that's that. So the making that motivational piece in there also, and because it seems like you need, at least from what I've seen within my clients, and again, this is more of a secondary besides pay yourself first, but you kind of have to think money's important. And not everybody does, and feel like it's somewhat of a limited commodity. Like a lot of the people that struggle with saving always feel like they're going to have more in the future.
Hmm.
And the people that are, the great savers are the ones that are worried about having enough money for the future. It's a subtle difference, but a big difference. And so, kind of getting that philosophy ingrained, because we don't know for sure what type of income we're going to have in the future. We might have a great outlook on where we're going and great degrees and a great career, but things can happen. So having that saving, mentality has been very effective for the clients. So if you look at a very successful 60, 70, 80-year-old client, and you go back to an 18, 20-year-old, 25-year-old child who's now starting to make money, that's where you can look at that path that got those people to success and just recommend the same things that they did, right? And we're not experts on this. It's just what we've seen within our clientele. Again, by looking backwards in our clients' lives and asking questions about how they got there.